you're anti-trans.
So yeah, I'm looking at someone called Rachel Gilmore. This person isn't actually too important because it's kind of leading on to something. And this first one's just kind of giving you a flavor of what this person does. I think she's some kind of journalist or something. Yeah, and this video is about a conservative deputy leader liking an anti-LGBTQ post. So let's see what drama's going on.
3 years before being elected as a Conservative MP, Melissa Lantsman co-wrote an op-ed calling out the Conservative Party. The title? Conservatives can't be stuck in the past on LGBTQ rights. What a difference winning an election makes. Because just before Elon Musk hid away everyone's likes on Twitter, I confirmed the openly gay Conservative deputy.
By the way, for this very reason, I'm guessing, hiding the likes is actually kind of based.
Leader liked an anti-LGBTQ tweet from a former politician who once called being gay a lifestyle choice that doesn't deserve this kind of attention.
Wait.
Politician who
So the tweet, this is what the tweet said, like, people being tired of LGBTQ activists forcing their agenda. Is that anti-LGBTQ? I think they're just complaining about activists, but sure.
Conservative deputy leader liked an anti-LGBTQ tweet from a former politician who once called being gay a lifestyle choice that doesn't deserve this kind of attention. In fact, opposing gay rights was kind of...
Yeah, and like, when did they say that, you know? Did not call being gay, like...
his whole thing. The tweet itself said, quote, most people are, quote, tired of LGBTQ activists, quote, forcing their agenda. A very cool and normal thing to say at a time when multiple lawmakers are literally actively trying to legislate away trans rights.
Legislate away trans rights, there we go.
But it's the LGBTQ community who is forcing an agenda. Now this could have been an accident, right? But after I posted...
It could have been an accident. She could have liked it on accident. Don't worry, guys. Maybe she just liked it on accident. Like, imagine caring about this kind of stuff.
That screenshot, Melissa Lantsman followed me on Twitter. So naturally, I immediately DM'd her to ask her about it. She's been online, but she hasn't answered me. So let's take this opportunity to look at the surrounding context. As I just mentioned, multiple governments have been passing policies that research suggests will result in more trans youth unaliving themselves. And if you think I'm being dramatic, know that pronoun policy...
Research suggests this. Like, what? PubMed. I need to look into so many of these people.
Policies and restrictions on affirming care are taking away things from trans youth that studies have shown make those kids less likely to leave us.
Studies show that they're less likely to kill themselves. I'm not sure about that at all, but sure.
Lantsman hasn't said anything about that. Poilievre, meanwhile, has defended these anti-trans policies, even hypothetical ones, and has used anti-LGBTQ rhetoric that's prompted calls from prominent LGBTQ rights orgs for him to apologize. He
Drink every time you hear LGBTQ.
hasn't. And Lantsman has backed Poilievre's comments, telling reporter Chelsea Nash that Poilievre's common sense conservative position is very clear and the caucus stands by it. Now that you've got all that context, let's take a look at what trans rights advocate
The unaliving thing is like the only thing they have. And I'm sure there's like evidence that it's not as bad as we said, like in the UK. I don't know about other places, but it's a really cynical way to push for something, you know?
Johnstone told me about Melissa Lantsman's recent behavior.
Melissa Lantsman wrote an op-ed before she became an MP.
Sorry, that took me off guard a bit. One sec.
By it. Now that you've got all that context, let's take a look at what trans rights advocate Faye Johnstone
Okay, I might need to know who this is.
told me about Melissa Lantsman's recent behavior.
Melissa Lantsman wrote an op-ed before she became an MP, urging the Conservatives to leave behind the homophobia and transphobia. And now that she's got proximity to power, now that she could be in cabinet if Pierre is our PM, it looks like she's abandoned her principles, that she's happy to allow her leader to throw trans people under the bus, that she's happy to blame queer and trans activists for a rise in hate.
Well, it's part your fault, to be fair. Hey, Anna Designer, what's up?
Powered by homophobes and transphobes that her party is flirting with. And that's just appalling to see in Canada in 2024.
While working on this, I searched Melissa Lantsman.
There you go. Listen, I'll charge not very much if you ever want me to do your eyebrows.
tweets to see what she said about trans folks recently. According to Twitter's search function, her most recent tweet mentioning the word trans was from 2019, when she was critiquing then Conservative leader Andrew Scheer. And she said something interesting. Referring to his response on LGBT rights, she seemed to take issue with his inability to speak to something so simple. Something that's not left or right. Interesting. I couldn't agree more, 2019 Melissa Lantsman. What do you think of all this?
So yeah, that's what this person does. And I wanted to look more specifically on their take on the WPATH files. And then you'll kind of see where I'm going, because I've got a couple of sources from this. Well, both of them, in fact. And you might see where I'm going with this when you see who they're by.
Have you heard of the WPATH files?
I have. I've read some of them.
If you haven't, congratulations on avoiding the brainworm side of the internet.
Oh shit, I've got a brainworm.
Unfortunately, this so-called expose on trans healthcare was published at a time when trans rights are under attack. Which means if left unfact-checked, this piece will add fuel to an already unscientific legislative push to make gender
unscientific. I'm so glad that this person can just spit this shit out. This person doesn't have the time to look all this up. You can see in the background, it's this Erin Reed person and someone else. They're the ones actually doing it. This person's just like amplifying their work. And I've mentioned Erin Reed a bunch of times because I think she's pretty terrible. I think she's a propagandist hack fuck, pretty much.
Affirming care even less accessible. So here's what you need to know about it. The document claims to have obtained leaks of forum posts from the World Professional Association for Transgender Health. Although Assigned Media reported that anyone willing to pay the membership fee can access those forums, so it's not exactly Watergate.
What does that even mean?
Membership fee can access.
Oh, Assigned Media is the other source she uses, by the way. I mostly know who they are on Twitter, and they're like fucking unhinged. Like, you know what kind of shit you're gonna get based on the way they act. Like, let's put it that way.
Association for Transgender Health. Although Assigned Media reported that anyone willing to pay the membership fee can access those forums, so it's not exactly Watergate. Then they took specific
Yeah, I don't even know what she's implying there.
screenshots out of context to try to claim that doctors are engaging in some kind of medical malpractice, rather than reality, which was that healthcare workers were having difficulty.
The thing that strikes me about WPATH files is how many of the snippets show doctors asking their colleagues complex questions and receiving complex answers. Well, I mean, I guess that's part of it, yeah. I guess these people are trying to minimize. I know who this Ari Drannan person is. They're a cultoid as well.
Difficult and complex conversations on a forum about best practices and specific cases, which is generally exactly what you want physicians to do.
Yeah, that's not like what people are complaining about. God, these people are terrible. Like, why do they all do this, man? It's so annoying.
Be cautious and ask each other important and difficult questions. But this totally sensationalized, editorialized...
Like, just word it in a way where it's like, oh, well, it's just this. This is literally what it is, isn't it? I mean, yeah, technically, but that's not really what people are concerned about. It's some other content, the contents in there. Such as, for example, someone who said that he's treated basically all of his patients, regardless of mental health. Where he drew the line was, he had one patient that was hallucinating during the consultation, and that was the one person that they didn't treat. Everyone else they treated, for example. So anyone with less of a serious condition than that was like fair game, I guess.
Piece takes those individual forum posts and rips away all context while infusing falsehoods. So many that it's hard.
They say about ripping away context. What context is there? There's generally like a question and then like answers. Like, I've read some of this stuff. I don't know if this person's read any of it because they're just using like other journalists as like a source.
Hard to keep up with them. Journalist Erin Reed, who you should all subscribe to,
No, do not. Subscribe to me. Also, like the stream. Have you liked the stream yet?
fact-checked the document and found 216 instances of factual errors, which should be like beyond embarrassing.
And you're just believing, like, beyond embarrassing. That was beyond embarrassing. But yeah, instantly believing Erin Reed, I guess. That's nice.
Despite that, drumroll please, the National Post, Newsweek, and The Telegraph all wrote up the expose, and two of them claimed there's a link between hormone therapy and cancer. But do you want to know what forum leak these definitive headlines are based on? One post and one reply. Not a study, no smoking gun. So why are we seeing...
And that's not even a problem with the WPATH leaks, by the way. That's a problem with how they reported it.
headlines like these? That's for the journalists irresponsibly parroting this piece to answer and not me. But they probably should have clued in when they saw who was pushing the report. Michael Schellenberger, a man who somehow found the...
Okay, we've got guilt by association. We're gonna shit on his experience and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we constantly push up people whose experience is not at all related to what they're doing. Let's see.
Time to become an apparent expert on the harms of gender-affirming care after making a name for himself, regularly downplaying the seriousness of climate change. Do you smell that? It smells like grifter.
Wow, what an amazing conclusion to come to in like 2 seconds.
Oh, and the main author? This is her. Definitely an objective source.
Oh, it's so annoying. It's so annoying because you know it's probably deliberate. You know it's probably like deliberate the way we're doing it. We're shitting on Canada. We were. I think this is not so much about Canada. But like, yeah, like you can say that, but then the person you're getting your info from is Erin Reed and Assigned Media, who the fucking... the bias is like evident if you spend 2 seconds on either of their Twitters. Like, but okay, you'll complain about this being biased, I guess. Like, why doesn't it go both ways? It's so annoying. Like, these people must know that they're doing the same thing. And like the only possible way they can do it is be like, well, yeah, well, I'm right though. You know, it's just so annoying.
So yeah, this isn't a serious expose, but it could still have serious consequences. What do you think?
I think that's an insane conclusion to come to on this. All right, so this is the Erin Reed article. And this is the one where that person got the 216 instances of factual errors. And basically all that video was taking bits from this article and presenting them as fact. So that's nice. Genevieve Gluck. I've heard the name. Are they trans or are they like a, something else? A TERF? Yeah, so we've got Michael Schellenberger. Felt the need to tell us how many words were in it, which is very nice. Leans heavily into opinion and pseudoscience. I mean, you're pushing your opinion straight away, so that's nice. Rather mundane and almost dull exchanges. I can only assume she reported on the WPATH files way before. Yeah, she probably did. Yeah, is she like a pro-trans person or a like gender critical or something? Yeah, so it's like they're seen asking about things. Like, this person must be like desensitized to some of this shit. That's all I can think. We've got more whatever the fuck this is. No one cares. Factual inaccuracies. Misrepresented citations. Sent shockwaves through the medical profession. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Did she see them like before everyone else, I'm guessing? Beyond WPATH letter itself. It sent shockwaves, provided the catalysts for the Beyond WPATH, many of whom were clinicians, and some of them aren't medical providers. So it's still the medical condition. Okay, this is stupid already. This is the thing. I wonder if my time is just being wasted even doing this, but this is where all this shit comes from. Like, someone like Erin Reed, whatever she reports, loads of YouTubers will just spit out as if it's fact. Like, someone like Luxander, you turn her on, she's just like a hose pipe of Erin Reed articles. Just turn her on and like, there you go. Anyway. So the first one was a bit stupid. We're addressing supposedly scientific citations. Reports performance is equally lacking. Editorialized section, report access. Do not show positive outcomes, citing 4 references. Oh, you have to read another fucking article to understand it. Like, and it's odd that we're swinging back and forth between like, our suicide rate is so high, please help us, and being like, our suicide rate isn't high, we're not all fucked up. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to put a pin in this because I'm not reading like multiple fucking Erin Reed articles. Like that you could use that for fucking torture, quite frankly. Anyway. And then, oh, this isn't an Erin Reed article. Fact check. Trans advocate. Fact check. Trans advocate. Okay. Kristan Williams. Almost 20-fold. Is it going to show that it wasn't quite almost 20-fold and it was like 18% or 19% or something? I'm not sure. I'll just check this and we'll go back. Myths about transition requests, okay. Bryn Tannehill. Board member of the Trans United Fund. Oh, okay, I'll have to look into that. I definitely need to look a lot more into, what's it called? WPATH. Oh, hey, Serena. It's good to see you. That's fine. Just, you know, however long is fine. Don't worry. We're mostly just looking at stuff. I'm talking to someone later as well. Yeah, so board member of the Trans United Fund. It's interesting. They always sound so suspicious. No actual psychological, psychiatric, or medical training. They love to do this as well. It's like reverse appeal to authority. They'll constantly do that to people that aren't, you know, doing this kind of shit. My friend James told me to always go online and ask Snopes and I'll always get the right answers. Oof. I don't know what Snopes is like, to be fair. Like, fact checking is always difficult because we live in an age of alternative facts, so kind of is what it is. Facts to most people are just whatever their feelings are, so. Spectre of transgender people. Like, this is all just like, this feels like some shitty fucking angry as fuck blog post by like Frida Wallace or some shit. I don't know, maybe. They love this peer-reviewed thing, so I'm guessing it's mostly people from other spurious trans organizations. I don't know. Let's go back to this because that's what I was here for. So we have, where were we? Always look up and cite your sources. Yeah. Got so mad at me at work, so I use trans woman instead of woman. Ouch. Listen, I don't care what people use, so. Quality of life, something. Gender affirming surgery. Sigmoid vaginoplasty. Does anyone even get those? I think that's different to like the normal one, but I don't know who actually gets anything like that. Much newer study. I don't know. Feels very nitpicky at the moment. Why are people so afraid of putting the word trans in front of woman or man? People are afraid of saying anything to or around trans people because we make it so fucking difficult. My camera is no witness centered. How did I leave it like this? Yeah, the amount of like pedantry and stuff you have to go into, it's kind of... Incorrectly conflates gender identity and sexuality. Oh my god. This is like, she's completely missed the point here. Alright, so, in numerous cases, the report not only misrepresents citations, but also commits outright factual errors about trans care. For instance, it incorrectly conflates gender identity and sexuality, claiming that gender-affirming care is a new form of conversion therapy that sterilizes lesbians and gays. Gender identity and sexuality are fundamentally distinct. They're not saying that. Like, the reason they say sterilizes lesbians and gays is because lesbians and gay men are more likely to transition. And there's evidence to suggest that, you know, it can be linked to that, like when you transition. There's people who've transitioned and then later detransitioned, saying that they felt they were dealing with like internalized homophobia or something. So yeah, that's basically complete bunk. Nice. Therefore, if transition were meant to serve as conversion therapy, yeah, I mean, this is like, in the report, this is like, what am I trying to say here? It's quite sensationalized, and we're getting cherry-picked, like, quotes, don't forget, as well. Like, I could check the original, but I don't know. I've got as much time as I need for the rest of my life to nail this down further, so I'm not too worried. So yeah, that first point is she's misunderstood. Similarly, a report claims the majority of gender dysphoric children would naturally desist and reconcile their birth sex after puberty, if not affirmed. Studies cited Kenneth Zucker's research from the 1990s. Slate.com. Don't know what that is. One of those people's called Lily. That's never a good sign. I mean, this is a pretty ancient thing as well, so... Like, this article is from 2016. I don't know, maybe that's another thing to come back to, probably. Similar methodological shortcomings. Wait, how outdated can they be in like 2011 and 2013? Did not require a desire insistence to be the other sex. Purposely included the disorder. Feminine boys whose parents wished were more masculine. God forbid they might take the possibility that homosexuals are being sterilized because of this procedure seriously. I don't know, all they care about is getting what they want, and whatever arguments they'll find to make that happen, that's what they'll do. If it means throwing anyone under the bus, that's not a problem for them. Desistance rates of 2.5%. Because the thing with stuff like this, what I would guess off the bat is that they only measure people who... What's the word I'm looking for? They only measure people who complete the program or like desist through the program. If they just kind of fuck off, if they just disappear, they're not really counted as like detransitioners or anything. I've seen this one. I've seen this before. I don't know what the desistance rate on it is, but I need to look at this eventually. Yeah, I've seen this one before. But these people, they just use these like studies like trump cards, you know. So it's DSM-4 and DSM-5. Is this really that big a deal? Like, I don't know. I don't know whether not including this would mean that all their data is like wrong or something. It kind of seems like we're nitpicking and then expecting the entire thing to fall apart, and when it doesn't, it's like, but it fell apart though, and you're like, not really, but they won't stop. So hormone therapy impairs sexual function. I mean, Jesus, like, surely HRT will naturally impair sexual function in males, you know? And like the improvement in sexual satisfaction, like how much is that more, you know, it's part of the fantasy or whatever, who knows, could be anything. One review. I could wish non-gays' main concern for us wasn't overall fertility, like Jesus. Hi Seto749, hope you're doing well. Low sexual satisfaction. Misrepresentations of leaked material. Alright, so this is where it gets interesting. So we found some stuff that's really quite dodgy in here. There's a few things that I'm really not sure about. I'll have to look into at some point. But that's how it is with these articles. Like, they expect you to to spend so much fucking time, and usually at the end you found a bunch of stuff that it's like, well, maybe, I guess, like, you can weigh that against like benefits, I guess, but I'm not sure. But they treat these like smoking guns. It's like crazy. So yeah, misrepresentations of leaked material, and that's what this one will be cogent to as well. Hopefully I used that word right. Alright, so one of the most prevalent tactics used by the document is misrepresentation of leaked material, obscuring actual statements with an editorialized interpretation. So it suggests a patient was leaking through the urethra after vaginoplasty and found it bothersome. Well, I mean, first off, these are here so you can check all of these, so, I don't know. It literally says, oh my god, it literally says, is bothersome. Can people read this, by the way? Like, let me just get this whole thing. Alright, so, for instance, an editorialized description of an exchange in the WFATH forums suggests that a patient was leaking prostate secretions throughout the urethra after vaginoplasty and found it bothersome. So, patient after penile inversion vaginoplasty was leaking prostate secretions through the urethra and was finding it bothersome. That's what it says there. And then Erin says, however, upon examining the actual exchange, it revealed that the patient was actually noticing an ejaculate with orgasm through her urethra, which significantly alters the context, directly contradicting the editorialized assertions made earlier that transgender individuals are often incapable of orgasm. They don't mention orgasm here, they just state it a certain way, and then you read the actual leak. It says, hi everyone, I have a transgender patient who underwent full-depth vaginoplasty a year ago, penile inversion. She notices an ejaculate with orgasm through her urethra that smells like semen and is bothersome. So, like, yeah. How have they misrepresented it? I don't understand. Yeah, well, that's that one. That's pretty crazy, to be honest. I didn't realize the first one was going to be ridiculous. These ones are going to be hopefully a bit easier because I've got the actual thing just right there. Which, hey, to Erin's credit, at least helpful to put it right there so you can fact check her in real time. So another misrepresentation of the leak material states. Talk about detransition being just another step in patient's gender journey. Mentions 54 times, suggesting its frequent occurrence. Well, it's somewhat frequent. Something smells fish. Yeah. W-Path is like suspicious as fuck. Like, I don't know why anyone trusts them. Well, I do, because people get brainwashed and people get manipulated, but hey. So yeah. So we've got, however, a closer examination of the actual W-Path leak reveals it was not a clinician, but the detransitioner herself, who described their experience as part of the gender journey. There is talk about like, I see this one a little bit more, but yeah, because it's the patient's word. It doesn't mention whose word it is. That she was brainwashed. Wait, hang on. I need to think about this a little bit. My tiny brain is like... my tiny brain is spewing smoke. If you can smell smoke, it's probably coming from my direction. They felt they were brainwashed. Talk of detransition being another step in the patient's gender journey. Oh, I've clicked on something. Where does it say about brainwashing? Because to me, it must have been further up. But the thing is, like, if he felt that he'd been a bit brainwashed, might that partly explain this kind of mentality? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's kind of snipped up and researched the Harry Benjamin Society. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this one's a bit funny. I'm not sure about this one. I'm not really. Maybe it's like hitting me in the face, but I'm not feeling strongly one way or the other about that one. Another portion assertions includes a patient discovering 2 liver masses identified as hepatic adenomas, with doctors suggesting likely offending agents of the hormones, amidst the fact that they were taking oral contraceptives. Fails to mention those are benign. Does that matter? Tumors are more commonly observed in people who use birth pills. Described as rare but benign, blah blah blah. The mission likely explains why and/or oral contraceptives. Wait. They did say the likelier thing was the hormones. They're using their words. I mean, yeah, it could have been a bit more thorough, I guess. This is very nitpicky, though. Inside is solitary. Oh, it probably won't, because I was looking for it in the picture, if you know what I mean. Yeah, there's so much stuff. It's going to take me a long time, but to be honest with you, I have a long time, so like whatever I do today, I can do more tomorrow or whenever I want, really. So I don't know. Not Erin in the morning. Yeah, I'm really sorry. We're doing Erin in the morning. Like, while we're doing this now, I'm speaking to Ray Alex Williams about autogynephilia at 5 o'clock. Should be interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to learn. I've already learned a lot from his videos, to be honest. Like, I was critical of one of them, but in general, they've been a lot more helpful. Like, most media doesn't really go into much detail about autogynephilia, and like his videos do, so it's been helpful. So yeah, it's not going to be, there's no like debating going to be happening really. It's more just, I don't know, I have certain thoughts about it. Like it's got a huge stigma attached to it, and trying to get trans people to accept it would be an uphill struggle. But hey, I don't know what his motivations are. I don't know what his thoughts are. So yeah, guess I'll find out. But yeah, so this is kind of like a tiny potential point at most. That was it? How do you get like 216 instances of factual errors? This isn't her work either, is it? I bet. I have uncovered. Does she have like a thing? Do you know what I mean? Does she have a source like showing all of them? I'm not going to read all of them, obviously, because I'm not insane, but like this figure here, like where's this coming from? Where does she show this? The editorial section serves as a prime example of a gish gallop. Can you gish gallop in a book? I thought gish gallop referred to like talking to someone else, where you throw out like 1,000,000 points in like no time at all, and then they have to somehow respond to like 10 different things that probably will take like a good 10 minutes each to explain. I thought that was what gish galloping was. I didn't realize you could do that in like a paper or a book or like a whatever. Yeah, like, how is she able to cite that number? I mean, maybe I'm just not seeing it, because like I don't know if there's something about the way that I read things that like these big walls of text are just like a bit overwhelming to me. So like I miss a lot of details unless I'm really concentrating, but I have no idea. You'd think she'd have a list of it or something. Because like some of these are maybe slight points, and then some of them are really nothing. Some of them make 0 sense. One of them she straight up just misunderstood. Comments here. Do you wanna lose your... This is amazing research. Is it amazing research? Thank you for tearing this apart. That kind of sounds like you wanted someone to tear it apart instead of wanting to believe what seems to be closest to the truth, but sure. But this is it, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It feels kind of like bullshit, and we've got some stuff that's maybe a bit true, but it's kind of hard to fucking tell. But like, I don't know what amazing research I'm supposed to see here. Complain about a novella's worth of editorial content. Mundane and often dull exchanges. One of them that I saw, I already described it, was about someone that treated everyone except someone that was hallucinating, as if to say, that's the threshold, that's what it'll take for me not to trans you, or something. Okay, well that was Erin Reed. I'm not blown away. In fact, once again, I think that was pretty terrible. We have someone else called Assigned Media. So this is someone called Evan Urquhart. Urquhart. I don't know how to say that name, but yeah, they're on Twitter, and they're very deranged. They're very culty. It's kind of what you'd expect, I guess. I would not treat this person as like an unbiased source whatsoever. I very much in the category of Erin Reed. But yeah, so it's actually nothing. The non-starter, non-story of the WPath files. So we've got the fucking... I'll have to watch her at some point, yeah. I can't really plan too much because I'm talking to someone. But yeah, I mean, like, you see, like, the title and stuff is ridiculous. We found that WPath members created hundreds of boring forum posts. This person is just going to be obfuscating and or downplaying the whole thing. And the thing is, by the way, I also want to be able to show why our media is so terrible, because I make these kind of claims all the time. I talk about how awful I think trans media is, how biased it is, how, you know, narrative driven and like anti-facts it is. Like, I need to be able to show what I'm talking about as well, because, you know, if I don't ever look at it, then how am I supposed to know? So yeah, we've got nothing, and then suddenly we get she's previously written anti-trans stories. So oh, that's, I don't know if that's even him or not. It might be, to be fair, I'm not sure. You know what, I could find out. No, he's white. Yeah, no, I don't know who the guy in the thing is. Oh look, they're both together. Look at that, how nice. Oh. So yeah, previously written anti-trans stories. See what anti-trans stories Mia Hughes has written. So for this story, assigned skipped Hughes analysis went directly to the source documents. So this will be good because we're actually looking at the documents the whole time. Although there's an awful lot of text with not many actual pictures, which is nice. Yeah. This is going to take a while. So, yeah, so we're getting just the leaks. That'll be at least a bit easier. So the bulk of the files from the members only forum. So what's good is no one's denying that this is what it is. Like, there's not really much doubt being spread about that. I don't even know what the post-millennial is. It looks a bit something. Don't know what that is. She seems to like this woman, adult, human, female thing. Did they hire a black model to play him for the article? Probably. But I don't know. Anti-trans. Like, sure, whatever. If she's making anti-trans articles, then this Evan Urquhart guy is doing just the opposite. He's just on the other side of the scale. So I don't know why he's complaining, quite honestly. He's the same kind of person. So anyone can pay this to get access to it. Well, a small number of posts, most of them are redacted. Posting, or what, if any, qualifications they possess. Yeah, sure. In other words, they're forum posts. I'm getting like Big Joel vibes. Like, he loves to do the downplaying and obfuscating shit. Like, it's really annoying. They're all winners. This is just nothing. Okay, great. So you took one screenshot from it. Are there any others? No, there aren't. Shit. And we're almost finished, by the way. Fucking hell. 8 individuals' names are unredacted. Christine McGinn, Marcy Bowers, Thomas Satterwhite, Daniel Doogie, Rajveer Purohit, Dan Karasik, Eli Coleman, Christina Richards. Why does he keep doing this? 340, oh, approximately. Okay. Overall, the posts are very dull. Yeah, I don't think they were posting it because they wanted to tell an exciting story, Evan. Jesus Christ. Like, This is like a year 5 like book report or something. Overall, I found it very dull. That kind of thing. Makes it impossible to ascertain if all the replies have been included. I guess. I don't know. I guess that means you have to focus on what's there and what isn't. There's a possible mistake in there at one point. Oh no. We're like nitpicking still, and we're not far from the bottom. So for example, what this is. The plot was slow on this one. Yeah. Trans masks. Sorry, I noticed all the little quirky word choices and stuff. Like the fact they use trans mask is indicative of something, you know. Notable inclusion, liver tumor. And then the Telegraph. Yeah, the Telegraph took something around with it, which I think they probably took this too far as well. That's not the WPath thing. Assign did not identify anything in the WPath file. I have a mind to fucking open it and look at some of them again because they're just pretending that it's all fine. Like, I really don't like people like this. These are the kind of people that will just, it doesn't matter what you do, they will downplay. Yeah, well, I just don't see if that's such a big deal. Like, you know, like, oh yeah, so like one person said that. It's like, yeah, like, you know, all that shit. I don't know where I saved it, fuck's sake. Or I'll find them at some point. I don't know. I read through a whole bunch of them on stream. There's some really crazy shit in there. There's a lot of evidence that stuff isn't especially like standardized, which I know the cast review had a problem with. So yeah, that was that. I don't still have that video open. But yeah, I mean, the video that we saw at the start completely like debunked all of that shit. Like, crazy. It's complete rubbish. But it's like you actually look at the sources and it's really not that great. I don't know if they just assume that people don't read these kind of things in the hope that they'll get one past you, but I'm not at all blown away by the response from transmedia to this. And like there's 216 errors. Hang on, let me just Google that like one more time. Because I still don't understand where that number came from. And like Erin in the Morning is the one that they all fucking cite. You know what I mean? She's she's like the person. Oh my god. Okay. Hang on. Let's see if I can get this on here. All right, here we go. Erin Reed said there were 216 errors in the WPath files. Seems like quite a lot, but I'm having trouble finding a list of them. What have I been saying? I think you're giving them way too much credit. Who, Erin Reed, etc.? I don't know. I see them cited like so much by so many like YouTubers and shit like that. It's working now. Erin Reed said there were 216 errors in the WPath files, which seems like quite a lot, but I'm having trouble finding the list of them, including in the article she published making that claim. We've just had the same problem. Can someone point to me the full list? This is the article I mentioned. Yep, we've just read it. Someone's got us covered. It's nudes in bio. List of WPath errors in bio. Appears that Erin is full of shit. Please fact-checking a trans journalist is clearly transphobic and literal violence against trans people. Literal. If you're serious about supporting trans people and showing penance, my consulting firm offers a re-education practice which is competitively priced. This person has to be joking, surely. Yeah, so it doesn't exist, like, as far as I can tell. I don't know how... Oh my god. Watch this Twitter account for more. Well, I can't do that because I'm blocked. So, I don't know. Did she ever post this? Did anyone, Oh, okay, and someone wrote a thing debunking. Erin Reid's debunk. Erin Reid is lying to you. Listen, if this is the main takeaway... If this is the main takeaway from what I'm presenting here, then that's fine. I'm happy to present that because that's how it seems to me as well. So if that's the main takeaway, then sure. So sigmoid, is that the one that uses the colon? Anorgasmia. Yeah, I couldn't cite sources because that would take too long. Like, why wouldn't you have just like a list of them, even in just like a list of links kind of form, just to show that it definitely is that many? Because she's picked a really what am I trying to say? Specific number, like 216. Like, where did that come from? Did she actually find about 16 errors and think, I'll just whack a 2 on the front of it? Maybe that'll do. I don't know. There was 1 or 2 I was specifically looking at. Conversion therapy. That was a good one. Yeah, so, she's misinterpreted that. There we go, it's them. Zoe Zephyr is a congresswoman or something, isn't she? But yeah, so yeah. It's pretty flimsy, but people will take her article, assign media's article, which is also terrible, and just like run with it and just declare it, oh, it's complete fake, it's bunk, there's nothing to it. So, how nice, how nice. But yeah, WPATH. I'm gonna keep coming back to them here and there. Well, Erin Reid lying about it, Evan Urquhart or whatever his name is, downplaying it. None of that disproves it. So yeah, I don't know. The kind of issues I've taken with the WPATH leaks, like what they present, like these kind of people are never gonna like answer to those kind of things because it's not convenient to, I guess. Anyway, I need to find something else to watch now because we've still got quite a while. For sources are to self-referential studies, it would not disprove the critiques. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, because they're all like peer-reviewed and stuff, and they use that as a thing to beat you over the head with, but they don't expect anyone to really look into what any of that means, you know?